So thank you, Barb. This is Miss Barb. She's my boss here at the 304 Canteen. So we're just going to interview Barb today for our project. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I'm really excited to learn about your experience as an entrepreneur. So for students who may not be familiar with the Rhododendron group, could you give me a quick overview of your organization, how it started, what your mission is, and the type of clientele that you serve?
Okay. The Rhododendron group started in 2018, and I was still working at West Virginia University. I'd been there almost 30 years, and a colleague of mine from another institution called me and asked me if I would be willing to review a federal grant that she was having some trouble with compliance. And that was one of the things that I did at WVU, was to work with federal grants a lot. So I told her that I would, and then word of mouth started, and I started getting asked by people from other institutions quite frequently, and it blossomed from there. And I really enjoyed it, and I was at the point that I was getting ready to retire. So I thought this is something that I would be able to do. And it started out with working with federal grants mostly, because I did that, and expanded into other areas that people talked to me about their needs, and I observed things changing in higher ed, and so I kind of adapted.
Okay, well that is a great starting story that you have there. Very inspiring how you're able to take your experience and turn it into something that's very accessible for you.
And let me just also say, the rhododendron is the state flower of West Virginia.
Yes, I did see that when I was doing my research. Very
So
creative.
that was my little,
that's really
but I
creative in
love
the
my
way you
state.
named it. So since those early days, how has the Rhododendron Group grown or changed? And what has the evolution of your business looked like since you started it out in 2018?
So when I started in 2018, and I worked still at WVU, my full-time job, till the end of 2019. So for like a year and a half, I was taking time off to go and do consulting jobs at other campuses. And it was getting, word of mouth was really growing, and I was getting a lot of requests. So I decided to retire and take that on. And then COVID hit, and I couldn't do much of anything. But once COVID was over, I started like going out and started seeking jobs, talking to people. I would do vendors tables at conferences with groups that I thought might be interested in my work and things like that. And so it's grown a lot, but word of mouth is still the best way that, you do a good job and people hear about it, honestly.
Especially in the education community, I can imagine that gets around really quickly. Since you did mention COVID, this was just made me kind of think of another question I had. What did you do during that time that kind of would help you, I guess, supplement for that time lost, or like that period of education where we were virtual?
Yes.
Was there anything you could do to kind of combat that?
Well, I had just started in 2018, and so when COVID hit, I hadn't been doing it for very long, and I wasn't prepared to do virtual stuff.
Yes.
Which I would have been able to, because I do it now with a lot of the things that I was going on campus to do when I first started. I can do virtual with them, and it's cheaper for them because they don't have to pay for me to travel.
Yes.
And we can do everything, through Zoom and meetings. So I wasn't going on to campuses. I wasn't prepared to do the virtual trainings and things like that. So I actually ended up renewing my teaching certification in substitute teaching during that time.
Okay.
And I
perfect.
did it pretty much full time.
Yeah. Well, that's a great example of adaptability in your situation.
And it was really nice. I hadn't been in the public schools for like 30 years to teach, and I loved it. And it kept me, still in the area that I loved to do, and it worked out really well.
Yeah.
And so then by the time, I had like 3 or 4 consulting jobs when COVID hit and we couldn't go anywhere. None of them were situations that had to have been done they were asking me to come to review things. So they just picked up when we were allowed to start traveling where they were,
And I'm sure your experience with teaching and, dealing with education your entire life, I'm sure that's probably helped you with your new businesses that you have expanded, because you're used to the demographic that we get here being students. So I'm sure that has definitely helped you a lot. So another question I have for you is, what do you think sets your company apart from other educational consulting companies? I guess what would be your strategy kind of that you think maybe would win people over? Like, why choose you?
That's a really good question, and I think I have a really good answer.
Anything you say is good, Barb.
Well, I think that one of the reasons why people come to me, word of mouth, someone is very satisfied and they talk to someone else, and the characteristics I feel like they look for are genuine and honest, and
you are very much those things.
Thank you. And I think genuine in that I want to help them. I'm not being critical. I understand because I've done their jobs, and that I'm coming in not to be critical, but to help them do their jobs the very best they can. And honestly, I just think they feel that sincerity from me. And I got a job one time. I was at a group asked me to come in and do a presentation about what I did. And one of the people that I didn't know later that came up to me said the way that I was talking about helping everyone in the office feel confident about the work that they're doing. I wanted them to not be scared when the federal government called and said, we're coming. I want them to go, I'll have your coffee waiting. Yes. Not be scared of it, because everybody's capable of doing their job. And she said, I knew that you were the one that I wanted to come in and talk to my staff. And I just think it's sincerity. I really do.
I mean, that's a perfect example of innovation too, being able to get a team to collaborate and
I'll talk some more about that later, because that was one of the things that I did a switch with my consultant. Well, I did in addition to my consulting, having to do with teams.
Well, if you want to talk about that, you can.
Okay, well, I'll just say that one of the things when I was going onto campuses and meeting with offices, one of the issues that I saw across the board, and I'm going to say 100%, I'm not even going to say 99, I'm going to say 100, was there were always communication issues in the office that were causing productivity to not be the best, causing issues between staff, causing the head of the department headaches because people weren't getting along. So I thought I needed something to help with that. And I started researching like these personality tests, kind of like Myers-Briggs and those kinds of things, because I wanted something that could help people communicate. So I did a lot of research, and I picked a company called Real Colors. And it's a program that helps people with communication. So you go in and you do a workshop with groups. And I'm expanding my business more in that way than I am with some of the consulting, going in and reviewing grants. It feeds my soul. So I'm like, I love doing the consulting with the grants and stuff, because I'm good at it. I think that I'm good at it. But the Real Colors, I see people change when I'm doing the Real Colors, and I see the light bulb come on, and I can do it from 12-year. They have youth programs, so I can do it with 12-year-olds. And seeing 6th graders go, oh. And it has to do with like accepting someone else. Or I'll give you an example. Have you ever seen the meme that has a great big dog and a little dog, and they've walked through a mud puddle?
Yes.
And the little dog has mud up to here, and the big dog has about that much mud on the bottom of his. And I put that up, and I'd say to the kids, like, what would the big dog say? And they say, what would the little dog say? So the little dog is going to say, you're lying, I almost died. And the big dog's going to say, so it's the same situation, but they're looking at it differently. And they're both right. And so I do a lot of that kind of work.
Yeah.
Like, how can you get along?
How can you get a team to kind of come
Yeah.
together and see each other?
And the Real Colors has 4 colors, and they have to do with personality traits. And so somebody, like, I can almost always say, you know, you're a green or you're a gold by personality traits. But Real Colors helps you see that every single one of those people and colors is important. I don't want all greens on my team.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to do the same thing. I need oranges and I need blues.
Yeah.
Because the blue people are going to say, what are we going to, you know, how's this going to affect the kids? The gold people are going to say, we need to get, you know, our agenda in place, and we need to have this. And you know, the orange people are going to say, we do that all the time. Let's try something new. Da 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 da. And so you help people see that all of the differences are really good. You know, you want all of those characteristics and personalities on your team.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And I've started to do it with public schools. And one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on now that we have some of these other businesses kind of running.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
Yeah, but I want to focus on county school systems in West Virginia that are consolidating schools, because there's usually a lot of issues between staff.
Yes.
And I think this is a perfect way to help staff learn how to appreciate each other, and so I'm going to focus on that.
Yes.
And probably in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, you love West Virginia. That's one of the things we kind of learning about in our class, like creativity is no good without innovation, because you can have all these good ideas on your own, but you need other people to bring those ideas to life, and you need to work together in order to make something successful. So that's kind of exactly what you do, is get people to think, okay, well, we all have these ideas, let's put all of our brain power together, and then it'll be amazing.
And one of the other things I really like about Real Colors was that, like, it also tells you, okay, so because you take a little quiz, and it tells you that your primary color is whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it also, during the session, we show you how you actually have everybody has all 4 colors. And so you also have to learn to dig. Like, I'll give an example of this. Like, I had a principal that he was the orange color, which is taking risks, not following rules, doing their own thing. Well, he can't be a successful principal so he has reached down into his other colors that typically aren't what he would naturally, because he's got to be organized, he's got to do reports, he's going to lose his job. So even though his main characteristic was this, he knew that he could pull from the other areas and do what he needed to do. And people you honestly start see people going, huh.
What do you think my color would be? So you know me pretty well.
You, I think, are probably gold.
Gold.
Which is structured and organized and everything.
Yeah, that would be me.
And although green is kind of like thoughtful. And I don't mean like thoughtful kind, although, but thoughtful as in you think things
the process,
through. And you get information and you gather, you know, so my guess is that you would have.
I believe you. I mean, you know me pretty well. You should have us all take it.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
That would be really fun. We could do it at the holiday party.
That's true, and it doesn't take any time.
That would be really fun. We should do that.
I think I will do it. Yeah,
that would be really fun. I feel like you're also maybe a gold. In ways, from what you've explained.
My number 1 is green.
Green. Yes. No, that makes sense, because you do think
green and gold are, you know, like
I can just see you having to pull out the gold, like when Jeff's around, you'd be like, all right, we need to just get this done. We need to do this. I could see that coming out for sure. But I guess I have some more questions
I do want to say that has been the biggest change for me with my consulting. And it came from what I felt was a need. I was seeing this in the offices that I was working with, and I felt like I needed to, for myself, I wanted to have an answer for them. I wanted to help them, because I thought a lot of stuff that they're paying me to come in here and deal with could be solved if they took a step back and had better communication and relationships. So I was very purposeful in saying I have to figure out
Yeah.
what I want to do.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a creative problem solver.
I am, yes.
You are. Which kind of leads us right to the next question I have for you. Can you think of a time when you had to get creative to help a client solve a challenge, or was there ever a time that required quite a bit of problem solving for you? I guess like maybe if it was a more difficult situation or something like that, where you kind of had to think outside the box.
I had a colleague contact me one time and say that she was having a lot of personnel. This was before I had started Real Colors, working with them. But she had contacted me and said she was having a lot of personnel issues, and was there something that I could do? So we talked a lot, you know, and then I just had to sort of be creative and come up with a plan on how I wanted to go in and deal with the issue. And I had never done anything like that before. And so I came up with a plan about what I could do to have everyone feel heard, have everyone feel like, you know, they were, you know, people were listening to them, and then how could we make changes from that? And it was a process. I mean, it was a lots of months process that I would go in and I would do things with the group together, alone, and it was a like well thought out design that I had never done before. I was able to pull a bunch of things I had done in different ways into the one big plan to try to address what it was a big problem. And once I got in there, it was even bigger than I thought. But all of the pieces put together and working with them did help with. Yeah, so it was a detailed, thought out, specific plan, because I didn't have an answer when she came to me. So
perfect. Well, you are very adaptable, as I've learned from all they have a lot of businesses. You and Jeff, you have your consulting group. You guys do rental properties. You have the bar. You have the market. So you guys are very busy people, and I can imagine that's a lot juggling back and forth. So you're very good at problem solving when it comes to that sort
and we're
of stuff.
hoping Airbnb soon.
Yeah,
I don't
know how you're gonna. You don't have enough hours in the day, but
we just jumped
you guys,
hurdle
out of
that.
everyone, somehow you guys will do it. If anyone could do it, it's you two, for sure. So here's one more, which kind of has to do with adaptability again. So because education changes so fast, I mean, we have a lot of changes in technology, you know, how we talked about with COVID. I mean, that changed on a dime, going from in-person to virtual. How do you and the people you work with stay adaptable, and how do you keep coming up with, you know, kind of fresh aspects and fresh ideas? Like, how do you kind of keep up with the changes that are happening?
I'm very intentional with that, because I know not working like at WVU, I was always on the cutting edge of everything because it was coming through my office. Well, of course, I'm not there now. So I have to create a situation where I'm still seeing all of that stuff. So I do very specific things, like belong to some professional organizations that I get stuff from them, you know, research, and, you know, I do things like, you know, I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to, is do some AI stuff, you know, some webinars online. So that has really been helpful. I can do everything from home practically with all the webinars and everything.
Which is good now that you have a lot of other businesses to run, I imagine.
And so I want to do like, or whatever, an AI for dummies, so that I can still, I'm pretty good with technology, so, and I use it now, but I like to learn more about it and how other people are using it. So I do that. And you know, one of the biggest things I do is I attend conferences of the groups that I want to, you know, get jobs from. And I usually do a vendor's table, but then I go to sessions. And so when they have workshops and stuff, I'll go to the workshops, or I'll go to the dinner where they're having an update on the national data on, you know, so
you're really good about staying involved.
I try to, and I do find it interesting, so that makes it easier. You know, it's what I enjoy. And like with Real Colors, if you're a facilitator, and I went through the whole training to be a facilitator, you have access to a lot of stuff from them. So they they give us a lot of information. Like this is data that's just come out about this, you know. So, but I do, again, very intentional about trying to kind of stay on track with what the people that I'm working with and for.
Yeah. So you're very adaptable, which we know that for sure.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest strengths.
Yes. Adaptability.
It
definitely
really
is for sure. You're able to go from here to there to up there to.
Let me tell you
guys
something
are always
that
doing good stuff.
I went to a conference a couple of years ago, and a lot of times they'll ask vendors to do a workshop, and which is always nice, you know. So, I asked them, and they said, no, we had enough people that wanted to do it. Well, I thought to myself, there's a lot of times that somebody's sick, so I take everything I need for a workshop. And sure enough, I hear them in their first session, and they're saying, and so couldn't be here, so they come out, and I said, I have everything I need to do a workshop if you want me to. And they were like, what? I said,
like I came prepared. Yeah.
And I did, yeah. So, because I thought I really wanted to do one, and there are oftentimes a lot of cancellations or somebody's sick or travel, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Always come prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very admirable. And I can't say I would have maybe been ready for that. That's really good.
It was funny because they were looking at me like, what did you say?
Like, really?
Yeah, like they didn't really understand what I was saying, and I'm like, no, I got everything.
Oh, that's awesome, Barb. Oh, I could just see you being like, yep, I'm ready to go. Like, put me in. I could so see that. So looking back kind of from when you started, what is one major challenge that you faced kind of in the beginning? So I guess we kind of already talked about COVID that being a big struggle as well. But I guess during the beginning, when you were kind of first getting off of the ground, what were some of the challenges that you faced as, starting your own business for the first time? What was kind of some of the hurdles you had to jump over, and how did you handle that?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll do two things. One is just the plain old bureaucratic crap to start a business. It's unbelievable, and I didn't realize that.
Yes.
It was just a constant, one thing after the other, or I'd get something that said you didn't file this, and I go, I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
So so starting out, there was a lot of that, and you know me, this is probably true for you too. That drives me crazy.
Yes.
Like, I want my T's crossed and my I's dotted before
you like it
someone's
to be organized. Yeah.
Like, where's the list that says this is
I need to know exactly what I need to do. Just give me a list and it will be done.
Yeah, and I will do it. Just give me the list.
Yeah.
And so that was challenging for me because I did feel that I was being haphazard, which I wasn't, but we blame ourselves. And I'm like,
Yeah.
And so I didn't like that at all. And then the other thing was, like, after COVID, when I was kind of like looking to try to get jobs. Interestingly, and you might not believe this, but I'm not totally comfortable like soliciting work. Calling people up and say, hey, I can do this for you. And I do get a lot of word of mouth. And because I have other businesses, I'm good. But if this was all I was doing, I would have, with consulting, I would have to do a lot more beating the bushes for work. And that's not comfortable for me. If I can sit face to face and talk to someone at a conference, that's okay. Or if they've stopped and asked questions. But to call people, just call people on the phone.
Because again, you're genuine and you appreciate, being sincere and having that connection. And it probably feels like if you're just calling them up there, you're just trying to sell it to them, which is not
that's not
who
comfortable
you are.
for me. Yeah. And so that and back right after COVID, and we weren't into all this other stuff. That was something that I wanted to be doing, and it was challenging for me because I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotten better because I don't really need to do it at this point.
Yes.
I'm getting enough consulting work that I don't have to do that right now. So
When you've been established for,
yeah,
it'll be, in 2 years, it'll be 10 years.
yeah,
So, I mean, that's really exciting.
I do have enough clients, past clients that I'm still getting. You know, I had 2 phone calls yesterday of people that are interested in me doing something that I haven't done. I haven't done a conference or anything for a year, and I'm still getting, you know, phone calls.
Is your client retention good? Because I know education is like one of those things where like kind of once you're in it for a long time. Like people don't really retire for a while. So is it where you're going back, or is it like you kind of solve that problem and then you're done?
Yeah, a little of both actually. A lot of times the call will be for something very specific. And, you know, like I had someone that called me and they wanted me to help them with a policy and procedure manual. And they said, you know, which is usually the case, they have this here and this here and this here, you know, we put it all together. You would be really good at that. I'm really good at that. And so that's all that they wanted from me. But I do have clients that'll say, you know, if you come in and do this, and then we'll and then we'd like you to come back and do this. So I have both. Some that it's a one-time thing. They are very specific. This is what we need. And then other times, there are people that would have me back every year to do something. Yeah.
Okay, that's good that you get a little mix of both.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And you know, and I do, the other thing I do write grants, because all of these federal grants that I worked with at WVU, they're out there, you know, in competition. So people will call me and ask me to write a grant, and then in 3 years they'll call me again and ask me to write another one. So I do have duplicate in that way too.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of both, but more return, honestly.
That's
because,
good.
Yeah, because you know, like even the person that does like the manual, if I did a good job, or if they think that I did a good job, if they do need something down the road, that they're go, maybe Barbara could do that. Yeah.
Or they're recommending you to, you know, fellow people that you could help out.
Yeah, really and my recommendations and word of mouth are really, and they're really good. So I mean, I think people are pleased. You know, it's very personal. I do very personal, you know, with the people. And they're usually not large groups.
Yeah.
When I do real colors, like I think the biggest group that I ever did was like maybe 60.
Okay, so I mean, still a decent size though to be doing that yourself.
Yeah,
For sure.
And you're supposed to have like 15 because you divide into the 4 colors. So for somebody to have all 4 colors, you need around 15 or 16 people. But so I've not done a smaller than that, but I've done 6th grade, you know, 66th graders.
Aww,
yeah,
that's so fun.
Interestingly, I learned a lesson there because some of them could read well enough to do that. You know, and it's 4 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Which is them, but they couldn't read well enough.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, and I thought,
I'm sure opened your eyes to a problem that's going on.
And so there were it was 2 classes, so there were 2 teachers and they helped. But I thought, well, if I ever do that again, I'm going to take a few people with me, like friends and colleagues, that could go around and
break it down for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that you learned after going through it. You know, that's like, for next time.
It was interesting too, because I remember sitting down with this young lady and she hadn't done any of it. And she was just making jokes and stuff until I realized that she couldn't read it.
Oh.
And so then I was like, okay, let's do this together, Susie, you know? And we started, but she was goofing around and causing a little bit of trouble. Yeah. Because she couldn't read it.
Yeah, she probably felt, you know, a little left out. So she was like,
so that's, I said, as long as I've been doing this, you always learn something new.
And that's something that I'm sure you picked up on, and you're like, wow, well, this is something I can take into my next, you know, true colors thing I do. That helped you for the next time.
It really did.
Yeah. Well, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but the question that I did have for you was, what personal qualities do you think helped you start the Rhododendron group, but not only that, also the Canteen and your guys' rental properties? So, I mean, kind of already, you know, touched on genuineness, adaptability. So I guess, what would you say is the characteristics that have helped you most in all of your businesses? Like, what are the things that kind of you feel like overlap the most?
My organizational skills are really important, because it's kind of like you can have all the knowledge in the world and you can do all of these great businesses, but if you can't
Balance,
keep the requirements
stuff,
that you have to do. So my organizational skills, when Jeff and I started businesses together, consulting was just mine, but when we started business together, that was the big thing that I brought to the table, was organization and structure. And
it still is how it is today with your guys' businesses. You do all the nitty gritty, the technical stuff of it, and he does kind of the more, and
I do think, so I feel like from our businesses, that's the biggest piece that I bring. Whenever I have to interact with people, I feel like I feel like I have good energy. People feel good around me. They feel my sincerity and my genuineness, and they know that I'm really there to help them. Yeah. And so on that piece, that I really truly do care, and I do. So it works out for everybody.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, my organizational piece, key.
Yes.
Key. Yeah.
Yes.
And I still feel like, I mean, things, we got so many balls in the air. Sometimes I still feel like it's not there.
Well, you're doing a great job.
We're getting there, though.
You're doing a lot better than I would be if I was juggling what? You're juggling four, almost five?
Yeah, 4 businesses almost,
Almost 5 if you're doing the Airbnbs.
And I always remind my husband that I'm also running our house.
I mean,
and
you're running all those, not to mention he's got his job at university, which is his full-time job. So, I mean, you guys are spread thin for sure, but somehow you still do them all with the full of your ability, which is a very admirable skill to have. That you're able to balance all that. It still is crazy to me that you can do it all. But it's working out well.
You could too.
I guess I'm sure I could too, because I also enjoy. I thrive in that busyness as well, which I think that's kind of how you are too.
And you're very organized. Yeah. And very structured. Which, when you got a lot of balls in the air, you have to work.
It's kind of nice because it's like you're kind of like showing off your skills. You're like, guys, like I got this. I'm doing it. I got it. It's cool. It's really cool to see play out. So one of my last questions, I've got one more for you after this, but you've been an entrepreneur in both the consulting and now the customer service industry. Now that you guys took over the 304 Canteen, you completely remodeled it, transformed it. It's a totally new atmosphere than it ever used to be. So I'd say you founded this version of the place. You know what I mean? So you've been in the consulting world and the customer service world. What are some of the main differences that you have noticed between being an entrepreneur in both of these industries, and has running your consulting business first kind of helped you with this, or helped the way that you lead a business?
I do think that starting the it was like I started out slow and small, and that was very helpful because, as I mentioned before, all the bureaucratic red tape that I went through with the consulting, when we started doing the Gray Jack properties and our rentals, which was much bigger, I didn't know a lot already. Yes. And that was very, very helpful. If we would have started out the big business first and I wouldn't have known everything, that would have been much, much harder. So that was nice to have that. And of course, those things were similar.
Yeah, you kind of know about some of the legality stuff
and what the city
all
requires,
the permits you need.
And so, and all the different reports I have to send in and then to the state for taxes and everything. I knew all that by the time we started the bigger, business. That was helpful. The biggest difference is we have employees now. And for the consulting, it was
Never
just
had
me.
that.
It was always just me. And having employees, which I supervised a lot when I was at WVU, and having employees just changes a lot. And just personalities, and then the legal stuff that comes with that when you're paying people and all that, I had never had before, and that was a huge step. When we made that leap to having a staff of, we have like 17 people here. And, And so that was probably the biggest thing. And I always say, I supervised for a long time and I don't really want to supervise anymore. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I can imagine.
And you have to be hard-nosed. And Jeff and I play off of each other really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just let him be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he can and he doesn't mind it. And me, I'm the mom that's gonna say, honey, come over here and sit down and let's talk about whatever. And so we've been able to play off of each other really well in that regards in a lot of our businesses, because that's the other thing. He would die if he had to do everything that I do behind the scenes.
Oh, yes.
And I would die if I had to talk to all the people that he has to, because he shows all the apartments and he talks to all the, you know, other businesses and everything.
But
that we
you do the leases.
Yeah,
and you do
and
the
I do
paperwork.
all the banking, and I do, and I would not want to do what he does, and he would not want to do what I do.
So you guys work together pretty well.
I mean, that's just like perfect. So that's been a blessing that we didn't even really realize
until you know, I'm sure, started those businesses
we were like,
together.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I'm sure all of your years working with, you know, students and, you know, kids and stuff, I'm sure that's definitely helped you with the bar aspect of being able to be like, okay, well, you know, they're kids.
Yeah.
You gotta just kind of brush it off. So I'm sure that's those skills.
I mean, all the years I was at WVU, almost 30, I worked with students almost all the time.
So you're, I mean, you're really good with the demographic of the type of people that you're.
And I missed
having in
it.
your
And I
business.
missed it.
Yeah.
And
Kind of gives you that little slice.
yeah,
of
the
that.
whole kind of bar mom thing that's evolved here is really good for me, because that allows me to be have that compassionate piece.
We love it. Me and Christina always say, we're like, you guys are our Morgantown parents, because we're all from out of town.
Yeah.
So you guys are our Morgantown mom and dad.
I do like that. I was a college student. I like that I can maybe be a safe space.
Yeah.
That your mom's not here. You're you know. And so if you need something and you feel like that could be me, that makes me feel really good. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you are a safe space for us. You guys always are. We tell
we
you guys,
would do.
we tell you guys stuff all the time.
We would do about anything. You know, we really would.
Well, even just my landlord problems I was having earlier, I'm, you know, coming in here, guys, what do I do about this? I mean, you guys, you're always there for us, which we really appreciate for sure.
Good.
So my last question I have for you, what advice would you give to students who are just starting out in the business world, or maybe would want to start their own business? What is like your kind of key piece of advice looking back that you would tell someone that's just getting into something for the first time?
I would say go out and talk to people. Like you're like talking to someone like me and Jeff. Yeah. That have just started businesses, and here's some of the things that we experienced, like not knowing all of this business license stuff and everything. I would say talk to people that have had the experience, and they like talking about it. Like I like sharing and hoping that it can help somebody else. And and the other thing, you know, it's so easy now with even AI, but you know, the internet, you can find anything, and you can find business plans. You can anything that you need, really. And so you just need to be as proactive and knowledgeable as you can be, because it's just a lot. Yeah. And
just get after it.
Yeah, and I would just say too, like I want to say take risks, but I'm not a huge risk taker, but I will when I have all my ducks in a row. That's what you would do, right? Yeah. I mean, like if I look at it, and
it's like taking a comfortable risk, kind of. Yeah. Like you feel prepared for the risk.
Yeah, and I mean, like when we're looking at these houses, Airbnbs, that was just out of nowhere. Yeah. And but I started doing research on it. I decided that that's what I wanted.
I was interested.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can go out on a limb for this because I've researched this and it feels okay.
Feels good to you.
Yeah. And I mean, so there might be risks involved, but I feel like I know what they are and I could deal with them. And so, and you know, you do have to You do have to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just expect.
I mean, you guys are in here all the time at
I'm
2 a.m. when we're closing, and that's hard work.
I'm just now starting to, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday nights when we're not as busy, letting some of the staff.
I'm really happy for you and Jeff that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Now,
So I mean that
was a lot.
And I'm when we started in the spring and we were here all the time every night, I'm okay with that. That's really what you do have to do in the beginning.
Yeah. It really work.
And
I'm
I
sure it's the
felt
same
like,
thing for your consulting firm.
Yeah.
You really got to put it in at the beginning.
Yeah, well, like I call it pounding the pavement and being visible, and so you have to be willing to really bust your ass. You just really, although I will say, you got to take care of yourself too, because you've seen me get sick, and then
and you're no good if you can't do anything. Yeah,
and that's not typically like me. I take care of myself, and I hardly ever get sick, but this was a unusual situation where never done anything like this before, and so I'd say work hard, believe in yourself, have people that you can trust, maybe not in the business with you necessarily, but people that you can trust as confidants and that are going to tell you the truth about things, and and aren't going to just puff you up, are going to tell you the truth,
straightforward.
Because that doesn't do any good if they're going, oh yeah, that.
You don't just need a cheerleader. You need someone to tell you how it is.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I would suggest.
Well, those are very good suggestions. Thank you so much
for
talking to me about this. I really got to finally know kind of more about what you do on that side, which is kind of cool because we never really talked about that. So it's actually really interesting to learn about. But thank you for talking to me. Yeah.
All right.